Peace, peace, peace. We in the building. Speak Your Mind podcast with the Ali's. I am the God I be, and this beautiful woman right here is the Queen Shanice Gatewood Ali. We here on this beautiful Sunday to talk about some amazing topics. Today's math is 6/6/2021. That's equality, equality. Wow. So
Wow.
equality is to share the information that you have with others so that you could bring them up to speed to where you at so that they can add on to their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and also in turn share that knowledge with others when they are out and about. So equality and equality coming together brings forth knowledge, wisdom, which is 12. And knowledge, wisdom brings forth understanding. So it's a complete cipher. So it's a beautiful day today. We definitely got somebody that's going to give us their knowledge and wisdom so that we can come to an understanding about finance. Peace.
Peace. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Once again, Speak Your Mind podcast with the Ali's. What number we up to? We do this like every Sunday. Well,
I,
almost every Sunday.
I lost count. I'm not even going to lie to you. I lost count now.
It feels really good to do what we're doing. We're giving out information. And sometimes we got to do our own research on certain things as well. We can't just allow someone to just give us the information and we just run with it. Sometimes it's always good to do your own research on whatever that thing may be. I think that's where we kind of like mess up at. So, of course, we ask anyone who's tuning in to all the great things that we bring to the table to also do your own research on the information.
Most definitely. And when you do that, and when you do that research, bring something to the table. Don't sit here and say, "Oh, well, you didn't say this, or you didn't say that, or
Right.
should have said this, so you should have said." No, come on, bring that information to the table so you can bring people up to speed, as we just spoke about, and we can all
Absolutely.
have a good and beautiful dialogue that's conducive to us elevating. That's what.
Right.
So that's what we brought this podcast to the forefront because we want the community to be involved so we can all have constant elevation.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. I really enjoy doing these things here. And then only that is what you call network. It's been so many times that you had done amazing network with some of the people that actually been on our show. So kudos to you, the God I be, my husband.
Close to you, I see a beautiful flyer in the back of your ear right there. What's going on back there? I see something going on here. What's going on?
No. So we are Phenomenal Woman. We are working on doing a shoe drive fundraiser. So with the shoe drive, we collecting um, gently worn shoes that you no longer need. It could be baby shoes, it could be men's shoes, women's shoes, teenager shoes, our youth, things of that nature, as long as it's not water damaged or holes in them. And what we're doing is at the end of August, well, the beginning of August, we shipping them out to places like um Haiti, Puerto Rico, things like that, places like that. So anyone who had a Katrina, back in that day, it was Katrina. Katrina really hit and damaged a lot of stuff, and a lot of people didn't have clothes nor footwear. So a lot of people will or food. A lot of people will send clothes and forget to send shoes. So this particular event, we are doing a shoe drive, and the company and we working together, and with that, whatever we make from it, we're going to take it and purchase some book bags for our children in the community for September.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. You always doing something in the community. I definitely salute you on that. You always got something going. You never sleeping. You always playing. Every time I wake up, I wake up and see you doing something. I'm like, oh my goodness. She's
That's
on
what
it
it's all
again.
about.
So,
Yeah.
so as you can see, she got this new shirt that she put out. Uh, Call Me King, not the N word. So
Hmm.
these shirts is available. There's a link on my page if you want to get these shirts. But we want to change the narrative. A lot of people like to call ourselves detrimental names and things like that. Nah, we want to call ourselves uplifting names. So I'm wearing this shirt today. Call me King. Call
There
me
you
King.
go.
Don't call me the N word.
There
Let's
you go.
change that up. Let's stop getting used to calling each other the N word and the B word. So we got one for the women and we got one for the men. Call me King,
Yes.
call me Queen, and let's
There you
get
go.
that. So
Absolutely.
with that being said, we want to get to our current events for today before we introduce our guests. So
Hmm.
the first current event that I would like to talk about today, we stay in tune with what's going on in the public health realm. I'm a health education specialist, so I definitely want to add on to what's going on in the public health realm. And this is something that was new that I wanted to speak about. So I don't know why. For some reason, the StreamYard right now is showing up like it's bigger than the screen on my computer. So I gotta do all kinds of different stuff. We ain't gotta get into that. But anyway, um,
Well, while you looking for that, I think we definitely looking for other people to come on our show and be a part of this great podcast. Also, we would like for people to subscribe on YouTube. So please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
that's right. Subscribe to our channel, Speaking Mind Podcast with the Alis. So this is the first topic. Can you see this?
Yes.
All right. So it says CDC says hospitalizations are rising with teens on COVID. If you're calling in, please call back when we have time for the question and answer session. We're not doing the question and answer session till after our guests. So please call in a little later. All right. So CDC says hospitalizations are rising in teens with COVID-19. This is CBS Evening News, and this article is by Mola Lenghi. It's from June 5th. All right. It says the director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is urging parents to get their teenagers vaccinated against COVID-19 after alarmist spike in hospitalizations among coronavirus patients. About 24% of kids aged 12 to 17 have received at least one dose. Before most were eligible for the vaccine, about one third of teens who were admitted to the hospital for COVID-19 wound up in the intensive care unit, according to the CDC. Nearly 5% of those cases were put on respirators. None of the patients died. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said she is deeply concerned by the numbers of hospitalized adolescents. Much of this suffering can be prevented, she said, touting the vaccine and other safety precautions. Dr. Paul Offit of Children's Hospital of Philadelphia says the U.S. has to do better in vaccinating children, but one big obstacle is convincing some parents the vaccine is safe long term, especially for girls, amid misinformation that could affect fertility. Unfortunately, misinformation plays a big role in this, Offit said. For example, the notion that vaccines cause infertility. There are many women of childbearing age who are saying, "Look, not this vaccine is not for me. I don't want it to affect my ability to have babies." It's a false notion. Once you've raised that question, once you scared people, it's hard to unscare them. Wow.
Mm,
So basically, what they're saying is that the children that were hospitalized, meaning that they already had a negative effect to COVID, right? Meaning that they couldn't breathe or something like that. Because most of the time when you go to the hospital, they'll say just go home and get you some aspirin and just relax. But if you're having a major issue, then they'll admit you to the hospital. So the
right.
children that were actually admitted, half of them were actually put in intensive care.
Mm,
So that's what they're saying. But if you look at the statistics,
right.
you see that it's not really a lot of children that were admitted in the hospital in the first place.
Hmm.
And there's really have been, and they said even in the article that of the ones that were admitted and put in intensive care, there was no deaths in that cohort. So
Mm,
I don't know, it just seems kind of weird the way that they're pushing our children to be vaccinated, but there's no deaths among that cohort. And I don't, I'm not anti-vaccine or whatever. I'm just trying to figure out why. I think that more resources should be put on the most vulnerable populations, which is our elderly and those with the pre-existing conditions that make it more likely that they could die from COVID.
Right. So, can we? Are you going to another topic?
Yes.
Okay. So, you know how, first of all, once again, the media. Like, if we, I don't know if everybody see what's going on and like really being in tune, but the media will promote certain things to get us in a scare, right? And when it's being promoted every day, all day, every day, all day, you actually get fearful, right? So what do? We run out there and we do certain things without doing our research. That is the word for the day. Research. Without doing our research and really getting the information for yourself. As you mentioned, the statistics. And we looked at the statistics last night, and the statistics is basically saying people over the ages of 60 and up, not to mention those who have health issues. Those are the ones who the issues start really, COVID really hit, right? However, I did have a conversation with a coworker of mine. He did mention his brother actually got sick, brought it home, and his father wound up going in the hospital. Why? Because the children are not wearing masks or whatever the case might be. They partying, whatever they're doing. And they bringing it home, and that's how the individual in the household is getting sick. So when he said that, it made me look at things a little differently. However, if that's not what's going on in your house, or you don't have no health issues, then why are we rushing to get our children vaccinated? But once again, that's just something, just a question up in the air. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not, but I just know I have questions. I have questions. That's all. And I'm sure other people do too.
Right. So we're not going to belabor that. We're going to move on to the next topic. So I seen this topic real quick. I know we said we wasn't going to talk more than two, but I have one more that I wanted to add real quick to it. So this one right here was some recent information that I haven't really heard much about, and I wanted to share it with our listeners. Um, where's this at? Okay, here we go. So this one was in the Amsterdam News, and it's by Karen Juanito Correa. It says Girl Val rallies for task force for missing and murdered women and girls. Right?
Mm,
And this is from the 3rd of June,
mm-hmm.
2021. So it says, young women, legislators, and supporters of the Bronx-based nonprofit Girl Val Inc. rallied last Wednesday, May 26th, at Brooklyn's Borough Hall to call for the passage of New York State Senate Bill S6924, introduced May 20th by State Senator Alessandra Biaggi. S6924 looks to create a task force on missing women and girls who are Black, Indigenous, and people of color, BIPOC, and to develop policy changes that will work to address the lack of care and concern for missing and murdered BIPOC women and girls with New York State governmental agencies. Amon Dwymo, if I pronounced it correctly, the special counsel to New York Borough President Eric Adams said that there is a long-standing issue of missing girls. We're not doing enough about it. You see, when you think about the fact that statistics show 75% of the girls and children that are missing are people of color. I'm going to say that again. When you think about the fact that statistics show 75% of the girls and children that are missing are people of color. They're Black and Native American indigenous people. And out of all of this, the Latinos, Hispanics are left out of the equation. We're not capturing all the information and data, and that's the problem. Senate Bill S6924, which will establish a task force of missing girls and women who are Black, indigenous, and people of color, must be developed, said Dwymo. We need the bill because it will actually legitimize our concern, because we need assistance from the government. The text for the bill notes that between 64,000 and 75,000 Black women and girls are missing across the United States, yet their cases receive little media or police attention. Law enforcement often categorize missing Black girls as runaways and fail to treat their cases with urgency. The bill notes.
Wow, that's good. So once again, I got on Facebook the other day and I spoke about changing the narrative. So once again, if you see that something is a problem, how about we get together and try to solve the problem? Because we have the solutions. We really do have the solutions. If you know how to write and you know how to network and you know how to do the outreach, then each person take a job and do it. They see that there's an issue, which has been an issue forever years, right? Forever years. Black and Latino women are being kidnapped, and they treated as a runaway child. But meanwhile, if it was another race of people, child missing, they will send out the dogs, the this, the that, and you know, fortunately and unfortunately, fortunately, if they find the girl or boy, because remind you, boys getting kidnapped too. Um, if they find them, that's great. But if they don't, unfortunately, at least the parents would know that the child was no longer here, or the child, do we need to continue our search,
Right.
right? But when it come down to our children, it's like, oh well, this child was a problem child. Once again, the media, oh, that child was a problem child, and they blah blah blah, and they've been arrested or whatever, these downplaying hurtful things that the media would say to justify why this child was not here. So this child probably ran away. You understand?
Right.
So once again, we have to change the narrative. And that's where I'm at. I know that's where you're at.
Most definitely.
Changing the narrative. If you could put pen to paper and make things happen that one time, trust and believe me, that adrenaline of always wanting to change the narrative will always be there. I've been that person since I was in, Lord, I don't even know. I've been like that for a long time. I used to work at the museum. I'm not gonna say which one. And I have heard um our supervisors say, look at those three. It was three African men who was, I think they was working on the floor, and they was like, oh, look at those three black blind men or blind mice or something like that. I heard that. I said, wait a minute. I got a few people to call and make a complaint about it. So with that being said, without it being connected back to me, because I was working there,
Right.
but at the end of the day, they kind of figured it came from me, because they said, oh, we can't speak about certain things around certain people. I don't care. At the end of the day, I know you're not going to do it around me. Plain and simple. So change the narrative. And that's where we at.
Right. So this last topic, I think it ties into our discussion for today. It caught my eye, so I definitely wanted to speak to it, because one of the reasons why we even have the Speak Your Mind podcast with the Ali's is because of a similar story. So I definitely wanted to touch on this real quick so I can show people the power of what they can do with their money. Um, can you see this article?
Yes.
Okay. So it says, and this is in Black Enterprise, right? It's an entrepreneurship article. It says, meet the single mom who turned her 1,200 stimulus check into a seven-figure business after getting laid off. And it's by Charlene Reinhardt, and it's from May 23rd of 2021, right? So, what is this? No, I don't want to see that. All right. So it says millennial mom Ellie Diop used her 1,200 stimulus check as capital to start her coaching business. 10 months later, her business hit the seven-figure revenue mark. Business Insider reports. I leveraged my experiences in the corporate world to get started, Diop told Business Insider. I spent 45 days scrolling through Instagram every day. I've spent 45 days scrolling through Instagram every day, researching, following hashtags before making my first post. It is important to look at who is having success in the field and analyze what they are doing that is working and identify which needs they are not meeting. From stimulus check to seven figures. In 2019, Diop was laid off from her job. After applying to over 50 jobs and seeing no progress, she realized it was time to take full ownership of her career and support her family. Unfortunately, the pandemic made job hunting even more challenging. After a year of being unemployed, Diop flirted with the idea of entrepreneurship. Managing family on top of funding startup costs seemed impossible during a pandemic. Fortunately, the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, CARES Act, provided relief that helped millions of families cope during the pandemic. Stimulus checks. With financial boost, this financial boost was exactly what Diop needed to invest in her business. Right.
Mm,
You can either build someone else's dream your whole life or start to build your own, Diop posted on Instagram. You see that?
I see that.
So, what I'm learning from this is this, right? As we spoke of a few weeks back, during this whole time of the coronavirus and these stimulus checks, we have seen the big television boxes out there on the side of the curb. We have seen all of the new cars that's been invested in. Can't find a place to park in Harlem right now because everybody got a new car. Everybody got all these new clothes. You posting the Gucci, Louis, Prada, everything on Instagram. You partying up and all of these things. However, now you gotta go back and find a job, or you're working for a job that maybe you do not like.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you not take that stimulus money and invest that stimulus money into something like a business? We took our stimulus check and we started I Am Phenomenal Unlimited. And then we took some of that money and put it in the bank, and then we invested in the equipment so that we could start this podcast. It was an investment.
Mm-hmm.
So, over the long term, we'll see a return on that investment. But right now, we building all of the infrastructure and putting everything in place so that when it comes time for us to take off, we'll be ready to do that.
Absolutely.
So, what's your add-on?
I mean, I'm with you. You know, we took our money, we did something positive that we could claim later on. You know, some of us just look for the now. You know, um, I wanted to start up. I would love to start up a business susu. So, as someone had asked me, what is a business susu? So, a business susu is basically something that a lot of other race of people are actually doing. So if you have 10 to 12 people that's a part of the business susu. So first of all, you got to know what is a susu. So a susu is basically people coming together. I was a part of it at work at one point, and what we did was we put $150 out our check every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, we took that money and we gave it to the person who was collecting it. All 12 people would do that, right? And then each person who have a date for their payment, they will get that 150 from everybody who was a part of it. And I didn't do the math, but I'm just throwing it out there. or I just say $100. So that's $1,200 coming from all 12 people, right? So a business susu, same exact idea. However, if you have a business plan, if you have a business that you're thinking about doing, are you going to remove that? If you have a business that you're thinking about, then you're going to come to the table with the 12 people who's putting up their $100 every 2 weeks, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to help you create this business and give you that money to start up your business. So if you needed money for whatever it is, at least you don't have to go to the bank, right? Because when you go to the bank, 9 times out of 10, a bank would tell you, no, you need something else. This. And by then you already discouraged. You're probably second guessing yourself as it is, like, do this is this a good idea for me to do this? And then if they keep making you do the runaround, you're gonna say, forget it. I don't want to do it. So a business susu with people that you trust in the community who are also entrepreneurs who want to be a part of this, you gotta come correct. You gotta come with the paperwork, you gotta come up with the business plan, you gotta have all of that in mind together in order for you to get that lump sum. However, you still got to continue to put your money out for the next individual. So that is a business susu for those who don't know. And once again, do your own research.
And I'll be honest with you, like I can remember times like in the town I came from or whatever, there was a mobile gas station, right? In that mobile gas station, it was owned by, I believe, they were Arab brothers, right? They were Arabs and Africans, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they came to the town, the guy had the one mobile gas station, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think his name is Sonny. He had this gas station and he would bring people in to work for him from overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, Sonny used the money from that gas station to buy him either a hotel and then a bank after that, I think, something like that. He just kept expanding. But as he was expanding, it was new people that was coming to run the original business. And as they would get on their feet, they would have another business that they would open as well. And it kept going that way. That the
Mm-hmm.
people that started at this initial site, they got themselves together and eventually they had their business and then they had workers that they could pull from another country. So if people are doing this around us, then why can't we do this? And I understand
Right.
what you're saying with the business social because it's the same idea. So without further ado, I think that we have an expert in the building that's going to tell us way more than we know about this financial information. So I'm going to read her bio and then we're going to introduce her. And I think it's going to be a great and fruitful conversation.
I
So,
don't think I know.
okay. So our guest today, her name is Claressa or Clarissa?
It sounds like Clarissa, but we find out.
Right, Lesley, MBA, CEO of Financial 411 Academy LLC. Claressa Lesley, MBA, is a young adult financial educator and the CEO of Financial 411 Academy LLC, which is a company that fosters interactive financial literacy education among young adults. The foundation of the organization is based on Proverbs 22:6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart. By educating financial basics to the youth to be proactive against future financial mistakes, key topics that we focus on include scholarships, financial aid, budgeting, savings, investing, credit, and many more. Before becoming a youth financial educator, Clarissa spent several years as an accountant, business developer for companies in the US and abroad, and currently a leading branch banker. She has also graduated debt free
Ooh,
throughout her college matriculation of undergraduate and graduate school. I need to be debt free. I hope she can help me with that too.
right.
Clarissa now helps youth and families as she orchestrates as a catalyst for financial freedom using interactive and engaging strategies through financial 411 Academy LLC. Peace. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our guest for today, Claressa Lesley, MBA.
Yes.
Hey
Woo.
everyone. Thank you for the introduction.
So,
Yes.
And
is it
thank you for
Claressa
having me
or
on.
Clarissa?
It's Clarissa.
Clarissa,
Okay,
Yeah.
Clarissa.
Clarissa.
Okay,
Hmm.
got you. Excellent. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us on this Sunday, so you could help bring the information out of the people that we working with.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Because when a lot of people say education, right? When you look at the word education, they look at it as smashing and putting information in a person, right? But
Mhm.
that's not what the word education means. Education comes from the Latin root educare or educe, which means to draw out. What are you drawing out? You're drawing out the potential within the person to use the information and to add on to their life,
There you go.
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So that's what.
That's the main thing I talk about. When you say drawing out, I have this phrase that everyone is worthy of wealth, right? So everyone is worthy of wealth. We just have to draw it out of them to making sure that they actually tap into that mindset of what it is of being wealthy, right?
Hmm.
The education. Not everyone understands the different tools and skill sets of what they need to become wealthy. So you're right on point. I just draw it out of them of the skill sets that they need to have in order to become wealthy.
That's
Wow.
Go ahead.
Yes. So I would love for you to get into what is financial literacy.
Yeah. So it's pretty simple. Financial literacy is literally just the education of the skill sets of finances. So
Hmm.
break it down of exactly how to manage your money, how to save, how to budget, how to invest your funds, how to tackle your debt. So that's really what it is. That's what
Hmm.
financial literacy is about. Let me tell you. So only 17 states in America require some kind of form of financial education in order to graduate high school, right? But then also, more statistically, 62% of Americans, well, from 2021, even with post COVID, live paycheck to paycheck, right? But then, even on top of that, 24% of high income earners, which is like about 100, if you earn $100,000, they still live paycheck to paycheck. So it's not about you make high income money. It's more about how do you manage your money, right? How do you lower your expenses? So that's
Hmm.
really
Say
what.
that again. Hold on. Say that again. You said people over $100,000 are still living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. Because if you think about
Wow.
it, right, a lot of people they think that okay, I have a whole lot of money, right? So I'm gonna spend that same exact amount of money that I'm taking in, and
Mm.
that's not the aspect that we want to get at, right? Because that's not what your net worth is your assets minus liabilities. So just because you own a whole lot, that don't mean that you you can still be
You
paid to
spin
pay.
on that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. You
So that's
know,
that's the reason why I teach the youth and young adults, so we can just get into their head
hmm,
at the younger age. These are the skill sets, these are the tools that you need to learn before you even hit those rocks in a huddle.
absolutely. Wow.
So I know I've been looking. Since I came home, my sister put me on. I hear feedback. Since I came home, my sister put me on to a app called Credit Karma, and
Mm.
I got on Credit Karma, and it was this whole thing. She's been telling me since I was younger about my credit score, how I could build up my credit score. So I just wanted you to get into a little bit of what is a good credit score, because I see it seems like when I go on Credit Karma, I build up my credit score. However, if I make a big purchase, then all of a sudden my credit score fluctuates and it goes down for a second and then it goes up and then it's just like the stock market. So I'm like, what is a good credit score? How do you build a good credit score?
Okay, so you mentioned Credit Karma. Um, for one, so it's a very important to understand the difference between Vantage score and FICO score.
Mm.
Not one is not. I see like a lot of memes saying like, don't listen to Credit Karma. Like that's not accurate. It's not that it's not accurate. It's just that there are different models and different measurements that different creditors use. So some use Vantage Score, some use FICO Score. So say for instance, if you want to go to buy a house, they're most likely going to use a FICO Score. So that's that. Compared to Credit Karma, they use the Vantage model, and then each model they break it down into different like 3.0s and that nature. But in general speaking, a good score is typically around the 670s, 700. So you want to get, and this is on a 300 to 850 range. Now, the higher your credit score is, right, that just determines the more benefits you get, lower interest rate you'll have. I mentioned house. So if you look for a house, you probably most likely don't have to put up that much amount. So just, you just have different benefits with credit score. I would say credit score is like a Dell GPA. So, yeah.
Okay.
Wow, thank you. I am one. Well, you frozen. Is that just mine?
Yeah. I'm
okay.
For a second.
Okay. So as long as you can still hear me, I wasn't really taught. Well, excuse me, I wasn't taught about credit. Period. I did. I wasn't. I'm thinking about it now. I wasn't taught about credit. So my husband and I, before we got married, he said to me, "What is your credit score?" And I looked at him like, "What? Why is he in my business?" And it was funny, but that's where I was at. So once him and I spoke about the credit piece, and I went to Credit Karma, and I was like, "Oh my God, my credit score was really low." I wanted to know, and I'm sure other people would love to know this as well. How can you improve your credit score?
Are you there? Oh, she may have to go out and come back in because she's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I mean, if she goes out and come back in, we'll add her back into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But what I wanted to say is the reason why I asked you about that, as far as your credit score. Some people don't realize that when you're getting into a marriage, it's a contract,
Right.
right? And we're supposed to be here to build each other up, not take away from each other.
Right.
So if there is an issue with your credit score or my credit score, then we can identify what's wrong with it and we can work on it together so that we can build it up. Because
Right.
eventually, we're going to want to invest in something, whether it be a business or whether it be a house or whatever it be. So how can we make each other better so that when it's time to do what we want to do, we'll be able to do it?
Absolutely. No, I get it now. At the time I was like, what? Because, someone else that I know asked me the same thing, but they was trying to put a car in my name. So, when you came along, it was like, what's your credit score? I'm looking at you like,
Wow.
but I understand, what like you said, you mentioned it, you was like, what's your credit score, so that way we can fix it, or figure out what's the issue, and which I did. You definitely helped me with that piece, so I appreciate that. So yeah, when she come back, I definitely would love to know what's a good, how do you improve your credit score, besides Credit Karma. Is there anything else that you could do to build it up?
She's back.
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, I'm on my
Okay.
phone now.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah,
Okay, so I was
the issue a lot
asking.
of times
Hmm.
before you get the issue a lot of times when it comes to the podcast with like personal computers, you have to be plugged into the router with the Ethernet cable, because if you use the Wi-Fi, then it's just a lot of dead spots. So if you're not using your phone, it's best to plug in with the Ethernet cable.
Oh, okay, okay.
Go ahead, Shanice.
So I was asking, I wasn't taught about credit. So I just wanted to ask you, because I mentioned, my husband had asked me before we got married, like, what's your credit score looking like? And I was like, what? So, but he helped me understand that, whatever it is, we could work on it, or you can call the people and make payment plans or whatever the case might be. So I want to know, how can you improve your credit score?
Yeah.
How can people, let's say that.
Yeah. So there's different ways to improve your credit. First and foremost is making sure that you pay your debt off on time. So ask the credit card company or whoever, ask them for the statement date. Not to, I would say, yes, ask them for the due date, but also ask them for the actual statement date. So you paid off by the statement date. And those are two different dates. Um, then the second one is to actually make sure that your balances are low. So I would
Hmm.
say making sure that your utilization is 30% or low if you want
Hmm.
to be really, really good. Now, if you want to be excellent, I would try to aim for 10%, but 30% or lower that's the benchmark.
Okay.
Um, then we also want to make sure you have like a mixture of um, different types of credit. So it's installment and then revolving. So I'm at a place. I recently graduated not so long ago. So most of it is really just credit cards and my student loans. Well, one student loan because I graduated school. Um, but you want to make sure you have like a mixture of both installment and revolving credit.
Hmm.
Lastly, making sure that you are not just applying for credit just to apply for credit. So if they see that you're applying for 50 million, that's just, I'm exaggerating, but if they see you applying for like a whole lot of credit within a short amount of time, then yes, you are going to get a really big dip in on your credit score. So they're gonna see that, okay, they're just applying for credit like everywhere, and they can't even afford to pay off my debt. Like what's
Wow.
going on? Like yes, apply for one or two, but because thing is, when you apply for credit, any type of credit, whether it's a credit card, a home, um, what is it, a car, you're gonna
Mm-hmm.
get a hard inquiry. So there's a difference between hard inquiry and a soft inquiry. You don't want to get too many hard inquiries all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you a little bit of clarification as far as there's a statement date you said, and there's a billing date, right? What is it?
Yeah, due date.
Okay, so what's the difference? Because that's a little gray right there.
Yeah. So statement date is simply when that's the date that the creditors actually was it close out the actual activity for the not the month but for the period, because
Okay.
not everyone's system is from May 1st to May, the very last day of May.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, that's what that is. Their due date is simply exactly when that is due.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
So
the due date is May 15th. You got to make sure you have it in May 15th. But if you're asking for the other piece, then you know that you still have 15 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
so we hear a lot of talk. Like they talk about America. They say that America is in trillions of dollars of debt, right? And
Yeah.
then a lot of us say that, oh, we got all this debt. What was me? All of this debt. But then you hear some people that are financial advisors say that debt is good. Some debt is good, right?
Some debt.
But
Mm-hmm.
what exactly is debt? Like, what is it? Because sometimes some people in businesses say they have debt, and then they'll just apply for bankruptcy and keep it moving, and they keep all of their money. But us in the hood, we get debt, and we live in check to check, and we live in with Peter pay Paul and all of this other stuff going on. So what exactly is debt? Is it a real thing?
It is a real thing. So for me, this is it. I'm not no the financial advisor. When I say debt is
Can't hear
if
you.
you owe
Can't hear you.
somebody money. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you hear me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
now? Okay. So if you say debt is debt, you owe somebody money, whether that's whether you like it or not. So I
Right.
say there's no such thing as good debt or bad debt. Either way, you gotta pay it. You gotta pay it back.
Mm.
Mm.
So that's the only way to get out of debt is to pay it back. We can't just apply for Chapter 11 and put our money in the overseas account and do the things like they do on TV.
I mean, go ahead and do that. You still gotta pay it back though.
Right.
If you want to be real with me, it's still gonna be on your report. It's still be accounted for.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. So
But I mean that's just me. I don't like owing nobody back. I don't even like owe my mama back when I gotta pay her back something.
Yeah, I don't like owing anybody either.
me neither.
Straight
I,
up.
I try not to even ask. So I want to ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from the time my daughter's about, God, how old was this child? 26 years old. So I used to collect my pennies from the time I was carrying her. My
Mm.
pennies, my quarters, my dimes. And it's so funny right now. My husband and I, we collecting our change, and he's like, "Why is it that you have more change than me? Are you taking some of my change?" But he don't know. I've been collecting change from the time, like I said, 26 years, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So when a lot of my change had fell out of my little piggy bank and my unit, I took all that change out and put it in the jar. So he's like, "You got more change than me. What's going on?" So it was funny. But I wanted to know, like, what are some of the strategies of saving money besides what and I collect my bottles. And he's like, "Why are we collecting bottles? That's 5 cents." Well, can you name some of the strategies of how can we save money?
Yeah, yeah. So, um, there's a lot of ways to save money. It's just all about what we value and how strong we want to get to our goal, right? So first
Mm-hmm.
and foremost, in order for us to save or invest, we need to set a goal.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to save." Well,
What you saving for?
what are you saving for? How much are you
Mm-hmm.
saving? Like, you don't have no goal. You don't have no set goal in mind or written down, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
the first step. Now, the strategy I love to use is just automatic savings. So from my paycheck, already automatically it gets deducted like $25 from my paycheck, and then I do some more after I do my budgeting.
Mm-hmm.
So just doing automatic savings, right?
Mm.
Another strategy, just be creative. Like, you can do a staycation. You can look for things like festivals that's around the city. I know it's like summertime, so there's like a lot of festivals going on. So it's just about thinking outside of the box when it comes to saving. Treat yourself. For as I said, look at Target, and then once you reach that target, treat yourself
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm.
something.
Okay.
If you're not using something, you can unsubscribe to it, right? So if you have a Netflix account, and you're like, wait, I'm not even watching Netflix for real. Like, you can unsubscribe to Netflix. It's okay. Unsubscribe to
Mm-hmm.
Netflix because that's pennies that you could be saving up. You put it towards something else, like
Mm-hmm.
investing or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Right. Wow. So okay. So I know another way I was saving too, like you said, is a goal. So sometimes when I know that I was going on vacation, and back when I was in Toro College, my friends and I would go to a trip every every year. But
Mm.
my coworkers, we used to do trips also every year. So there's 2 trips every year. So what I would do is I would find me some um when I see quarters and nickels and dimes on the floor, I pick them up. And I just save them because guess what? I know I'm about to go on 2 vacations in a certain, in that year, and I need to get on my saving game plan. So you're absolutely right, and by me being in school now, for my master's and my accounting class, he breaks all this stuff down, which is great and helpful for and fruitful for those who don't know. This is why we out here to do the things that we doing. We sharing the information. And I wanted to ask you, do you have headphones? If you have headphones, that would be great for you. Great
Mm.
also.
Give me one second then.
Okay.
So we so I think it's good. I think it's good to save money,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that, like, when I read that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said
Mm-hmm.
it was like more important to make sure that that money is working for you. Because the money, when it's just sitting, like the money that we have in those change jars, and the money we have in the bank, the money in the change jars is it's just dead money right now, right? It's just sitting there. It's not doing nothing. You know, it could be utilized for something that could be making money. And the money that's in the bank is taking that money and investing it in the stock market, investing it in businesses so it could get a return. It's investing it in all of these things that we're not getting money off it. If we are getting money off it in a savings account, it's such a small percentage that's going to take forever for it to build up to a certain thing, right? So I just think that, we should be taking the money and investing it so that it becomes capital, which is money that can be invested into other things that can make money.
Okay. Well, this is why I was trying to take my quotas to Atlantic City. I was trying to get my capital.
So I wanted to ask Clarissa. I wanted to ask her. Yeah. So you hear a lot of people talk about being in a dead end job and not making enough money, not making a living wage, and it just seems like a perpetual cycle. You feel like a hamster on the wheel. You're just running in place all the time. How can we as people in our community, how can we make more money?
Yeah. First we have to make a self-evaluation on ourselves, right? Because we can either find a problem, because we're always we could be a solution, as yeah, I mentioned already in the beginning of the show. We just have to be a solution to the problems that we see, right? Or monetize your skill sets that you already have deep down inside of you. So those two things: either find a problem that's in the world, or find a skill set that you can monetize off. You can monetize off of both of them. That's just like myself. I was like, you know what? I'm in school. I'm in college. I don't see a lot of my peers um, being knowledgeable about these financial aspects. Why don't I actually teach and educate the youth? Why don't I teach and educate my peers? So that was a problem. My skill set, I love to educate. I love to teach. I was that brilliant tutor that everybody went to, right? So I just combined that problem that's in the world as well as the skill set that I had. That's really what it's all about. You could do those, as we saw with the Black Enterprise, right? She used her stimulus check and create a 6-figure empire.
Seven figure.
A 7-figure, excuse me, yes, correct. Thank
Yeah.
you. A 7-figure, right? Like there's so many ways out there that we can use to build our funds and to just make our we get the thing is we have to not spend our time. Can you hear me? Okay, cool. I just got connected to my earpods. Okay, cool. So we have to just stop spending time with like making money, and just making our money work for ourselves. And that's really what it's all about. Yeah.
Wow. You know what? That you absolutely right. I wrote a book. Well, it's a journal book. It's a journal workbook, and it's domestic violence. As you know, I don't know if you know about me, but I am the CEO of We Are Phenomenal Woman, which is a domestic violence prevention organization. Let me make sure I say that, because when I say domestic violence, people feel like I can help them get out of this current situation. I do more of the educational piece of what is domestic violence and how to get out of it safely. So I came up with this I Am Phenomenal journal book, and the journal book, I just with the older woman the other day, and she just made me feel so good because she helped me understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So it took a couple of coins to make it, because we put some beautiful pictures in there, and my sister and I, we put it together so lovely that for me to hear this woman say that the book inspired her and empowered her, it helped her see that she was in a domestic violence situation and she wants another book. She wants another book. So from there, something that I, like you said, you went to college, you see other people that's not like yourself who should be out here educating. Maybe I don't know if you have a book yet, but maybe that'd be the next thing, to write your own book and promote it, put it on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or whatever the case may be, and let your money come to you while you're doing other things.
Right.
So that's a good
Okay.
access. um and the book is going to be around when you're not even around. Somebody might pick up that book and be like, yo, this is what she wrote. So I think that's another great way. Sometimes you got to put out money to get the money back, and with that money that you put out, you want to get that tenfolds over.
Right. So we in a different
Mhm.
generation.
Right.
I think they consider us Generation X. They had the baby boomers before us, and the different generations. Like you have the millennials now, but back in the days when my parents and them was coming up, they had different ideas about money. Their idea about money was to save money in the bank or to buy a house, and then you were good. Once you bought that house, had a little bit of money in the bank, had your little cars and all that, you was good. But now it's 2021, and you have all of these different investment tools that they have out there, all of these different things going on. It's like it's hard to keep up with sometimes. So as a financial advisor, as a financial strategist, so have you. In 2021, what are some good things to invest in? Because you hear all of this talk about Bitcoin and Dogecoin and this coin, that coin. I don't even know what a Bitcoin is, to be honest with you. I went to work one day. I used to work down there at the Manhattan Criminal Court on 100 Center Street. I was going down there to work one day. I happened to go into the bodega right next door. And I go in the back of the bodega. I think it's an ATM. I go to stick my card in there. It's not even an ATM. It's a Bitcoin machine.
Mm.
And this was like a year or two ago, before this was all in the news and all of that. So I'm like, I know that we're behind. What is, because a lot of times they say, like, once you hear the information, it's already too late. So just let me know. I know it's a big question, but what are the good things to invest in 2021? Because everything is so, you know,
Yeah, yeah, that's a load of questions. So I'm a traditional person, but I'm a millennial, so I kind of invest in a lot of different things. When I first started, I still do. I still invest in ETFs. I still invest in called REITs, which is real estate investment. I'm having a brain fart, but it's basically like a real estate fund. The
Okay.
stock market, and then I have a Roth IRA. So those are very
Mhm.
traditional because when it comes to like ETFs, you are so ETFs is basically like a group of stocks all in one. So instead of just
Mhm.
investing in one stock, you're investing in a group of
Mhm.
stocks, right?
Mhm.
Now you mentioned Bitcoin and the Bitcoin ATM. Now it is very huge.
Mm.
So those are cryptocurrencies. That's what Bitcoin. That's
Mhm.
what Bitcoin is. It's a cryptocurrencies, and those are chained up. Well, not chained up. They are saved in what's called a blockchain,
mm,
right? So compared to when it comes to stocks, which is based on shares, cryptocurrencies are based on coins, and they are in the digital world. They're in digital assets, right? So if you just look at everything in the world, the way we're going towards is just
Mhm.
technology aspects. We're going towards technology. That's what it is.
Period.
Yes, we are gonna keep
Mm.
like the things as face to face,
Mhm.
yeah, she's breaking up.
digital aspects, and that
Mhm.
is cryptocurrencies. Now, what
Mhm.
I'm still breaking up now? What about
Go
Yeah,
now?
ahead.
no,
You good?
I'm gonna. Okay, cool. And so the crazy thing about it is actually when it comes to all of the cryptocurrencies, because there's different. There's Bitcoin, there's Dogecoin, there's like what you heard, Ethereum, Ripple. They all right now are worth 1.5 trillion dollars.
Woo.
$1.5 trillion. So it's gonna like yes, it is going crazy. But now what you just said earlier right, is that we're hearing all this information, but it's very important that we actually get the right tools of education because it's not the time to invest in it or actually trade it because it's doing trading and investing. You don't want to get into it when everybody's talking about it. So you gotta get into it while it's kind of like everybody's kind of like a little quiet, like you don't hear nobody talking about it.
Mm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
good to go in there. Nobody's talking about it. It's not on Instagram. It's not on Facebook. Let's go in there. Look right now, right? And when it just comes to anything, yeah, I kept saying it from the beginning. The word today is what? Research. So you
Research.
have to research. you
Mm-hmm.
have to you have to do your research and you have to make sure you understand what your own risk tolerance is. Especially since it's a digital currency
Mm-hmm.
with you mentioned Bitcoin, they are very, very, very volatile. So they
Mm.
move a lot. They move a lot up and down, up and down.
Mm.
Um, so you have to understand what your tolerance is. So you don't want to just put your
Okay.
money in. You don't want to put your money in it and then you get scared the next minute, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna go. Or
Mm.
you have a fear of missing out on money and you go on it when it's way like it's really high. The thing is, when it comes to stocks, anything cryptocurrency, you want to buy low and sell high.
Yep.
Right.
So
Yep.
that's that. Yeah, and actually understand like what it costs because when you go, even though so this is the thing, if I have a TD Ameritrade, I invest via TD Ameritrade and Ally Invest. So yes, you can open an account, but then when you go to like more in depth style of trading, so if you want to trade cryptocurrencies on TD Ameritrade, they do
Mm-hmm.
have a fee or they have like a requirement for like a
Mm-hmm.
required amount that you need to actually put into the account. So you have to
Okay.
understand like when you go on these different apps, what is actually required of it? What's the fees? How much do I need to put down on it before we actually do it?
Gotcha. Wow.
I know it was
You
a
know,
lot,
I
but
no, but
Get
you
it
know,
out.
I've been talking to someone, my PR, and she's into stock, and I had her one night at 11 o'clock at night, like, look at this, look at this. So I'm when I was working at my old job, I used to have stock, and that helped me, I guess, get the amount of money that I did receive when I was able to leave and pull out my pension or my 501c3. No, I keep saying 501c3 for 401k. So
Yeah.
that helped me out with that. But you know, I want to get back into it again with the stock. And I'm just looking. I'm
mm-hmm.
looking, him and I is looking and figuring out which one we want to rock with. But I do want to ask you, are Robin Hoods and the Acorn, are those good apps to invest in?
Yeah, those are good apps for investing. Just so those are good for beginners if you want to get started with it. So those are pretty new apps to utilize, and so with
Mm-hmm.
anything that's new that's out there in the world, they are going to have some tweaks and need some adjustments that needs to be made, and so that's just something to be mindful of. They are
Mm-hmm.
great for beginners and just to analyze the chart of
Mm-hmm.
that nature, and then you want to step into other brokerages.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have to actually go and get a broker so that we can really have the right type of information in place. Is that correct?
So they are, yeah. So yes, so you're gonna still get the same amount of information. But this is how I always know that a platform is really good is if they have a customer service number. If they don't have a customer service number,
Mm.
I'm like, okay, they don't seem they don't seem okay. I need to be able to call someone if I can't figure something out. Another good tool is if they have actual educational platform. So every financial, well, not every financial
Maybe
tool, but
most.
a lot of good financial, yeah, most, they have educational platform or page set aside for you to
Mm-hmm.
learn and dig deeper into understanding what is stocks, right? So as I said, I have TD Ameritrade, I have Ally Invest, I trade within the foreign exchange market. So they all have different they all have different educational platforms that I can actually learn from outside
Mm.
of what I'm doing. right? So if I don't understand something at 1 minute, at least I can go on the website and say, what is a pullback? What is a downtrend? I can just look up those simple terms. So customer service number, and it's an educational platform.
Mm,
Okay. That's good to know because I didn't even think about that.
right.
Wow.
So a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
I look at the stock market and all of these different apps. I look at it like a casino, to be honest with you. To me, it's the same thing to me because you put your money in there, you don't know how the thing is gonna go. I ain't even gonna lie to you though. We went to the casino. We went to Atlantic City not too long ago, and I went down there. And as soon as we stepped in the casino, it was a good look because I looked on the floor and I found like $200 in euros and Canadian money. So I said, "Yeah, this is gonna be a good trip." So look, my strategy, right, was to go and take $100 and just drop it in the machine. And once you put that $100 in that casino machine, cling, 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 they think they got one. So you get some money automatically. So I made like $300-400 as soon as I put that money in there, pulled it out, and we really ain't really have to spend too much on anything while we was in Atlantic City because I had this money from this thing. However, one night we sitting up drinking, enjoying life, whatever. And my wife was like, "Yo, we should just chill for the night." I'm like, "Nah, let's go downstairs. I'm gonna drop another $100 in this machine, and we gonna be good for the rest, so we can have some money when we get back. Trust me, this is what's gonna happen." So we get downstairs, and I have been working with these one machines with the little Chinese people on the machine. Not saying anything against Asian people, but it got a little Asian person on the machine, like a little Buddha, and I be playing with those machines and making money. But it was this dragon machine. I'm looking at the dragon machine. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go mess with that machine right there." And I went over there and I messed with that machine, and everything started tanking after that. And I lost all the money that I made, and everything was done. I just want to correlate that with the different strategies when it comes to the investments that we're making. Because sometimes you have people that are invested in a restaurant. They say restaurant are the highest forms of startups, right? And people are investing in that restaurant, and the next thing you know, it start tanking, and they don't get out of the situation. So how can I change and adjust my investment strategy so that it reaches my goal and I don't just lose everything like I did in the casino?
Like what you did with gambling. That's
Yeah,
what that
yeah,
is.
you know that.
So yes, when you invest in not gamble, so you have to have a strategy and a set plan before you even start anything. As I stated before, excuse me, you have to know what your risk tolerance is. So there are different tolerance for when it comes to opening up a restaurant. There's a different risk tolerance when it comes to having a vending machine business, having your own business, have open a book. So it just depends on where you are in life, and what kind of strategy you with. So for example, if if I'm not older, but if I was older, I already had kids, I don't plan on having any more kids, right? It wouldn't make sense for me to open up a 529 plan because I don't plan on having no more kids. So you just have to think about like where are you at in life, honestly, like what's your risk tolerance? Definitely say to meet up with a
Mhm.
financial advisor so you can make those adjustments and see what fits you the best.
Okay, so speak to an
Mm-hmm.
advisor. Okay, because my
Mm-hmm.
husband and
I mean,
I
I had to do that recently.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I had to do that recently. I got life insurance, and then the life insurance agent got back to me like a little not too while ago. Was saying, you know what, let's change up your life insurance policy because this will be a lot beneficial for you and not
Mm,
it'll be more cost efficient. So just and talk to your financial advisor periodically because life
okay.
events happen, things change in your life. So, you don't want to miss when something happens because we want to
hmm
be proactive and not reactive. So, talk to your financial advisors before something even happens.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, how can I financially, right, protect my loved ones if something happened to me? Like, what can I do? Because we're actually up in age. We have 4 children, you know, and we
And a
want to make
grant.
sure, and a grand, so we just want to make sure that everybody's okay, if something happened to us together collectively, because he ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere yet.
That's right. That's right.
But we want to be able to leave something behind for our children, though.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure you, as I mentioned with my example, with your life insurance, making sure that both of y'all have life insurance, individually and together, and write a will as soon as possible. But you don't want to do those two things, right? You want to make sure whoever you put as a beneficiary, your
You breaking up.
Yeah, you breaking up bad.
and the second beneficiary,
Yeah, we want
Yeah.
you to repeat that because you broke up bad, and
okay.
this is very
Okay.
vital
So
information.
I was saying to make sure that you have life insurance and have your will written out as soon as possible. But not to only have your life insurance, but whoever you have as your beneficiary or in your second beneficiary, tell them that you're my beneficiary so that they know, like, because that's money online. As soon as I forgot the time period, but if it's there for a certain amount of time, the money's gonna go straight to the state. It is not gonna go to who you need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
true.
Yeah, that's
So
important.
you be sure that they are listed as a beneficiary, right? So everyone needs to be informed of your finances. Yes, it may be sound taboo, talking about finances, but I love to have, let's like once a month, let's talk about our money goals. Let's talk about our finances all together. Let's talk about what we're gonna do. A lot of people, millennials, you say, okay, I'm gonna retire my mom, I'm gonna retire my parents. But what does that look like for your parents exactly? Right? Because you have
Mm-hmm.
these set goals for your parents, but what exactly do they want to do? Do they want to have their own? Do they want to just go on vacation? Do they want to have their own business? Now, do you have a business plan? Do you have insurance for that business? So we have a lot of business owners. Do you have insurance for your business? Do you have
Mm-hmm.
insurance for yourself in just case something happens to you? It's not just for when you pass away, but what a lot of people don't know is there's a way we actually build wealth through actual life insurance, or if you just get like to an accident. So
Right.
yeah, definitely
That's
let
true.
your beneficiaries know exactly the documents that you have in place for something in case something happens. And where is it at? Is it in the safe? Is it like in a closet? Like where is it at?
Right.
Exactly.
You don't really hear a lot of people talk about that aspect of it because if you're the only person that knows that information, and then the person has no idea where it's at, like I recently had two deaths in my family. My sister passed away in December, and my father passed away in March. But my sister, like, she was a very private person. Besides my other sister, like, she didn't really give any information to anybody. So when it came time to find her important documents, we had to really search the house and try to find this and find that, and that was very difficult. So now we got to go and develop a relationship with her bank and all of these different things so that we could make sure that we secure her finances. And that was, that was very stressful. On top of the stress of her not being with us anymore.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this, I think that's a very important conversation to make sure that your loved ones know that, okay, I got this money, I got this set aside for you, and you're the beneficiary. And if something happens, to go find these documents here. I think that's very important. That's great that you
Definitely.
said that.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean that's one of
important.
the worst things that I see. Like, so I work at
Mm-hmm.
the bank, and so I one of the worst things I see is when a wife or a loved one, they come inside the bank and they're like, I have the death certificate right here. I need to get X, Y, and Z money at the bank, but it's not that easy. Like, it's not just 1, 2, 3. I have a death certificate. It's not. It's not like that. And even though COVID, we had a pandemic. I lost my grandmother last year, and with the COVID, she didn't die. She didn't die from COVID, but it was during the pandemic. So when I tell you, in order for us to have the funeral quick, and not like have her laying
Mm-hmm.
there for
You.
days, like in like literally 2 days.
Mhm.
Oh wow.
So the phone lines are open if anybody would like to call in and speak to Clarissa about the information that she gave today. I think it was a beautiful presentation. I think she gave up some very important information please go back and review this video, share this video, send this video to your friends and family so that they could know this pertinent information.
Right, absolutely. So how can people connect with you and the work that you do? Do you like the young lady that we spoke about, she's on YouTube or whatever the case might be. And she also mentioned if you want any more classes or training, or you want to come to my master's classes, you know, Twitter, hit her up. And of course, there's a fee. So, how do people reach out to you, and is there a fee?
Yes. So there is a fee. However, you can find all the great information on my website. It is www.financial41academy.com. And we are open right now because it is the mid-year. We do have a special going on just to get everybody right on track on their goals. Because a lot of people, they create these wonderful financial goals at the beginning of the year. And so I want to get everyone back on track to accomplishing those financial goals. So for the mid-year, we are having a special for our sessions, our financial literacy sessions. So you go on the website again, is www.financial41academy.com, and you will see all our services there. And also
Okay.
follow us on Financial 41 Academy on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, great. Okay. So, can we put that information up there?
How do I do that?
I don't know why I don't hear anything right now.
Send me the
Okay.
money. I mean, send me the information in the chat, and I'll put it up. So yeah, I think it was a great. I think it was a
Okay, I'm
great
doing it
session.
now.
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
think it was a great session. Hopefully, people got a lot out of it. I see the information right here. Okay, hold on.
My little shoe drive flyer keep coming down, poster keep coming down.
So what's next? What's next for you, Clarissa? I can't hear you.
Yes, what is next for me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can hear you. Hmm.
Okay, cool. What is next for me? What is next for me is that we are getting up to really partner with schools. So this fall, we really want to partner with different schools that are out there for us to actually put our program into the schools, which is middle schools and high schools. We already have a curriculum set in stone, so up and running, and that's what we're looking forward to. More and more on
You broke up bad.
individuals.
We really didn't hear a word that you
You
just said.
said you wanted to get into schools and what else? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't
What
know.
is going on? I can't hear me
It's a
now.
bad
Yeah,
situation.
we can hear you. Hmm.
What's going on today?
I don't know.
Can you hear me now? Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
was
Hmm.
basically saying that what's coming up next is really get into the school system. Can you hear me now?
Mhm.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, so that's what I was saying. Get into the
Oh,
school
okay.
systems. We already have a curricular plan mapped out, so that's what we're looking forward to doing is getting our curriculum into the school system. Make sure that all of our students and parents understand the importance of financial literacy.
Wow.
Absolutely. You know what? We need that because once again, we just mentioned if you see a problem, we could change the narratives ourselves. So you go into the school system because guess what? The schools don't even do this anymore. You know, if they did, I'm in my late 40s. So I don't remember, you know. However, the children today, they a lot of them aren't in school because there's some certain things that they can't really relate to right now. You know, some kids want to get into the drugs, drug game. So if you bring that piece into something that they know or something they see in a community, that will help them um be successful, whatever it might be. It's funny, and I'm sorry to bring up the drug game, but that's retail. They don't even think that they have it. if you're going out here pushing whatever it is out here, you're a retail, you're a salesman, a
Right.
saleswoman, you know. And then if you're dealing with money all the time, you are accountant. You and once they start seeing that and like, wow, I do know how to do that. Oh, I can relate to this, and bring it to their attention to get them to understand that you are powerful in the game that you want to be in. But let's change the narrative and bring you into something else. Next thing you know, that student that you taught is now a member of your team, and they're doing financial 401, right? So it's great. I love it.
Right.
I would love for you to be a part of it again. I wish you was up here. I know you're not out here because I know your mom. I wish you was out here so we could get you into the school systems up here. So where are you actually?
I hear a little
Yes,
twang in
I'm
your voice.
here residing in Atlanta, Georgia now.
Yeah, I knew you was somewhere where they got sweet tea at because you got the
Yes.
twang in your voice. You sound like
Yeah, she's not from out.
Yes.
She's from out here, but she's not out here right now.
that's
Yes.
what's up.
Atlanta adopted
Yeah.
me.
So is Atlanta still the Black Mecca? Because they said that the Black Mecca changed to North Carolina or Charlotte somewhere now. Is Atlanta still a place where you could go and live life as a Black person
Oh,
and really excel?
absolutely. Yes. Atlanta, I'm from Queens, born and raised, but Atlanta adopted me. That's one of the reasons why when I tell you tech, entrepreneurship, all things Black, it has already risen. This is where it's at. When you want to
That's
say
what's up.
like, you know, Black and yeah.
You know, the young lady that we was talking about earlier, she said you have to change your location also. You know, and
Mm,
and change the people that's around you as well. And I see how she strategized it, and it's very helpful because people will use the heck out of you and would not put nothing into the, you know, want to they want your food but they don't want to add to the plate. How about
That's
that?
right. They definitely don't want to put nothing to the
mm.
pot. There's no potluck. And you know what's crazy? I did notice one thing, right? We've been doing this podcast for some time. We don't know how long it's been for now, but it seems that when it comes time for a financial conversation, that people are not engaged. Why are people not really thinking about what to do with their money or want to talk about what to do with money and how can we engage in this conversation? Like I didn't go to school down here in the city. I went to school upstate New York in the Catskills. And because of my parents, right? My parents were business people. My father had his own business. My mother was running the business. She was an accountant. So, business was always something that was a part of me. So when I went to school in high school, the school I went to at least, I was able to in my high school years, my senior and 11th grade and all of these different years, I was able to graduate with a diploma in math, science, and business.
Mm.
Right? So I don't know if they have these classes down here, but up there they did. So I was able to take classes in accounting, keyboarding, business ownership and marketing, all of these different things as a youth.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't appreciate them.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able to do that. And it just bugs me out how our people, they really don't want to have these conversations about business. How do we get our people to be more engaged or to get involved in something like a business susu so that we could, help everybody to elevate? We want to have all of these complaints, oh, I'm tired of this job, or I'm tired of this and I'm tired of that, but you take your money and you go buy the 57-inch TV and you ain't got nothing in your refrigerator or nothing in the bank. You don't have a business or anything. You don't want to invest it. Your investment is in Jordan sneakers and all that. And I'm not saying it like I'm trying to shoot at our people or anything like that, but come on.
Right.
Right. Right. I mean, that's a big question. I ask that question all the time, right? Like, I'm a financial educator, so I'm like, where do I tap into these with kids? It's different because, as you said, I
You get
speak
them early.
to this, yeah, get them early, speak to their skill set, and speak to where they are at. So I guess it's like even with us, with adults, you gotta speak at that level. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they got this pair of jeans, but you gotta equate it to, a business aspect. You can sell these shoes and get money for it. I'm like, oh, really? I
Mm-hmm.
can make money off of selling shoes. It just,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta speak on a level.
Level.
And then the
Right.
other thing is even though it's sad, but it goes back to like the life insurance we were talking about. Sometimes we don't get it until something actually happens to us. We don't get it until we see other people making millions, right? It's a fear of missing out on money. We were like,
Right.
oh my gosh, like you just got a really big profit off Bitcoin. Like, oh my gosh, let me get into it. Now everybody's talking about it. Like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
my mom or my aunt just passed away. Okay,
Now
now
we got to do a GoFundMe.
let me start learning about life insurance now. Let me start getting my there. So that's the
Right.
two things. We just gotta we're not doing no more GoFundMe. We're not doing no more.
And even that, why we don't have our own GoFundMe? We don't even have that. We got to still go to somebody else to even start a fundraiser. We can't even have blackfundraiser.com or anything like that. Like, what's going on with our people, man? But anyway, thank you so much for taking your time out to
Right.
break this information down for us. And we really salute you. And we definitely want to have you on in the future. I know it's going to be a lot more questions. And, my wife is getting her MBA, so she's following in your footsteps. So, I know y'all going to have some great conversations. She has her own podcast as well. I don't know if she told you. She has her own podcast, the Purple Table Talk. So I don't know. Maybe she'll invite you on there. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Her mom been on the purple. Well, she been on our woman panel. But yes, definitely bring you into our purple round table discussion and enlighten our people because it can happen. It just I think when you mentioned the certain things about our people and their finances, a lot of people is on fixed incomes, so they don't even see their taking a little bit from their fixed income because guess what, rent is too damn high, like the man said. So everybody is trying to struggle and make sure their bills is getting paid, but in the midst of that you can save a certain amount. Like in church they say 10%. You could take 10% for yourself as well and put it to the side and make it, next thing you know, next year you'll be like, wow, I didn't even know I had this amount of money. So I'm looking at things a little differently. My husband and I is working on building, certain things as well. In certain places, the niches, we figure that out and just make it do what it do and enjoy life at the end of the road.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So give your contact information, your website, and all that one last time for the people in case they want to get in contact. But hold on, we got a caller. Hold
We got a
on.
caller. That's great.
Peace. Speak Your Mind podcast with the Ali's. Caller, state your name. Caller,
Hi,
we can
caller.
hear you.
Anyone else who would
Uh,
like to call in, the number is 347-450-6397. Once again, it's 347-450-6397.
Let me call back because disconnected.
Okay. And we very informative, we just figure out what solutions that we might have that we could ask somebody to come in and bring in that information, like we educate, like bring the information out and get people to help us um come up with
Peace,
the
caller.
oh, okay.
Hello? I don't know. It's not. This
It's
phone
not
is not working for some reason.
okay,
Fortunately,
but that's fine. So
I
once
can't hear
again,
you.
they can reach you at where again, so you could
Yes. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure being on you guys' podcast. You can definitely reach me. Visit my website, which is www.financial411academy.com.
Mm-hmm.
Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Financial 411 Academy. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we'd love to get in contact with you all and help you guys with the knowledge and skill sets of financial education for your youth and families.
Peace,
Absolutely.
peace, peace. Caller, you there?
How many people's on your team?
Hello?
Myself, just myself.
What? Well, you got to get
Yes.
some more people on there. That's all right.
Listen,
You're
you
going
want
to
to
get a
come forward?
team.
Come forward.
I know that's right. You're going to get some more people on that team. So connect with other people. It's going to rebranding. You got a brand, rebranding. Black owned businesses. Love it. So we
Mhm.
still trying to get the caller.
Peace. Caller. Hello?
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you
Yes.
now.
Before your guest leave, I have a question for her. We know in our community we say that children are a future, but many times we are not planning for their future.
Mm,
So I want to find out from your guest who has expense information in the financial area, what are some clear cut ways that we could begin to save money for our children?
Mm, mm-hmm.
Mm.
So did you hear the question?
Okay. So yeah, so there are yes, I did. Yes. So there are different ways we can save for our children. And I say really like let it start really early. So even if you are expecting, let's start opening up a 529 plan. And that can be used for education. That's an educational savings tool. Also, just open up a regular savings accounts for your child and your children so they can actually start building it up.
mhm,
Also, when it comes to investing, you can also have a custodial account for your investing account. So if you have a broker, open up a custodial account for yourself, but then also have well, excuse me, open up an account for yourself and then open a custodial account for your child who's under
mhm,
18 years old.
mhm.
So those are just some ways. And so just it's just starting young, right?
Right.
So teaching them, talking to them about coins, teaching them about money, right? If you see that they have a really great skill set at something, let them showcase it. Don't downplay those skill sets. If you see that they're really we talk about the lemonade stand. If you see that they want to open up a lemonade stand, let them open it up. Show them exactly how to make the lemonade. Show them how to price their lemonades. That's them tapping into their entrepreneurial
That's so
spirit.
true.
Yes.
Wow.
So those are just some things. If you see, I had a little cousin. I was in New York in April. I had a little cousin that was really he was like trying to show me his like magic tricks. I was like, oh, he's like, go ahead and show us your magic tricks. That could be really big. You could become a magician and
Mhm,
turn it
mhm.
into a business. But he was only what I think 8 years old. But it's just
Wow.
that at a young age, it's just those things. So a 529 plan. You can open up another educational account that's in their
Mhm,
name,
Mm-hmm.
custodial
mhm.
account for your investments, and just tapping into their skill set.
Right. You know what? You're absolutely right. I did the same thing. What I did was I had my job to take $50 out of my account every pay and put it in her account. And then with those same
Mm-hmm.
coins that I did save, I opened up her actually that's how I opened up her first bank account. Which
Mm-hmm.
was, it helped. Then also my someone mentioned to me with my grandson that we could get him a card, right? And what we could do is sometimes if he want a game or a toy, we could go ahead and get the card the toy off the card and pay it up. So that way it's building up his credit. So by the time he turned 19, 20 and he want a car, he could just actually take it off the lot, because guess
Oh
what?
wow.
We helped build up his credit. So some parents would think that they're doing something by putting a bill in their child's name, but guess what? You're messing it up because you're not paying that bill on time like you're supposed to. So,
Any
that's
other
another
questions,
Yeah,
way.
Paula?
yeah.
Any other
That's the
questions?
big part.
Oh,
Like
come on.
my
You still there?
Is treasury bonds still a viable plan?
Oh,
What's
okay.
the question?
He says treasury bonds still part of a plan,
A viable plan.
valuable plan.
Treasury bonds.
Treasury bonds, is they still good?
yeah, I mean it is. This is safe. This is safe. It
It's it.
is. This is
Yeah,
safest.
I heard that it's not like you don't make a lot of money off of it though, like the
Yeah, I
percentages.
have treasury bonds that's
Yeah, I
over
mean like so right.
5 years old.
Okay.
Over
I need
25 years old.
Yeah, my nephew, I'm going to be transparent. Before my father passed, him and the other grandmother, we talked about legacy building, and they did not give it to my sister because my sister's, she has MS and sometimes she's not always responsible.
Mm-hmm.
So they give me about $500 in treasury bonds to hold in trust for my nephew until he turned 25.
Mm-hmm.
He's now 34, but he's been in and out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still holding on to these treasury bonds for him. And so I'm going to need to find how I go about cashing them out so that when he does get released, he'll have something to fall back on.
Mm,
Right.
that's what's up. That's what's up.
Right. I mean
Yeah.
you could still utilize those.
Hmm.
Mm. Okay.
How would I find out the worth
I win this.
of
I win this. I win this. I win this. Hold on.
He said, "How could he find out what?"
these bonds that are 30, 30 years old? Because my nephew's 34.
How does he find out the worth of the bonds that are 30 years old?
Well, when is because he so when is he getting out of jail? Because
There's
he would have to be the one that has to take it to the bank and
Oh.
find out the value of them.
Oh, he has to. He has to get him
he
out of the
has to
bank.
do, even though I'm the one who is left as the um the overseer of the account, he has to do it now.
Yeah, I think that's what she said.
So are you the overseer on the bank accounts?
On the treasury bond, my father and his
So on
grand,
wherever his bank account is.
I not hear question.
He didn't hear what you said.
So what I'm saying is because whoever's on the bank account,
Mm-hmm.
they are the ones that will be liable to do any kind of transaction. So my question was, or my statement is, if you are on the bank accounts, then you can do stuff because you could be the representative um, for court, but not at the bank. So when it comes to when you're at the bank, you can't do it if you're not on the account. It's the bank account itself.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
About a bank account. I just know that I have these treasury bonds that were taken out by my father and his grandmother, who are both deceased. My father's been deceased now for uh, 23. This will be 24th year that he's
Wow.
deceased, and the other grandmother, she deceased
Mm.
in 2013.
Okay, so you have like the actual bond documents, like the way they be printed out as a bond, like that
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
Okay, so he has the actual
Mhm.
document
That's good.
saying that it's a bond. Like, how does he find out how much those are worth? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, so because you have to go to the bank. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
take it to the bank.
I have those. I have those too. I have those too. My mom just gave me mine like in April. I had mine just sitting there. I gotta take mine to the bank and see how much they're worth.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. So she said just take the bonds to the bank and you'll find out how much they're worth. All right, Uncle Mark?
All right, thank you so much, sister. I appreciate you. And make sure your information, I'm quite sure the Ali's have, because I like to offer you an opportunity to come on the Families United for Solutions platform in the near future.
Okay. Salute,
Mhm.
Uncle
Thank
Mark.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
always
you. I hope I
supporting.
answered your question correctly.
Salute. Peace.
Peace.
Peace. Wow. See, it's crazy because it feels really good, knowing that people, I guess, is the gold. I would guess is the goal, because then there's other platforms that want to bring you on as well, so that's great. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this um Speak Your Mind podcast with the Ali's, and giving us your time and some information. I hope you really enjoyed it. Your mom just emailed me. And once again, thank you so much. And I would definitely, reach out to you. I have your number. I reach out to you, and let's build that team, right? Let's get that team going.
That's right. Thank you,
Yes,
Clarissa.
I'm ready.
Hmm.
Salute. Peace. This is the Speak
Peace.
Your Mind podcast with the
Thank you
Ali's.
guys.
6/6/2021. Peace to the people. We out. We about to go get some of this sunshine that's out here, and go get us some ices or something. They got the lady, the lady with the icy truck. She shade that ice, put that joint in that cup. We about to go get some of that. Get
We're
some of
gonna
this
get some of
sunlight.
that.
They said the sunlight got a lot of vitamins, so let's go get some vitamins.
Oh, vitamin D. All right. Peace
All
to
right.
everybody. Yeah, have a good
Peace.
one.